The transport bay of the Ashkern Dominion smelled like ozone and wet stone, and every alien eye in the room was fixed on the newest cargo, a human. Ensign Danny Kowalski stood barely 5'7" in a room built for beings who duck through doorways. Around him, the Krath Alliance had gathered nearly 40 species to witness the first contact tribute exchange. A polite name for what was, in practice, a zoo exhibit. Humanity had lost the war before it started. No shots fired. Earth had simply been outmatched the moment the Krath fleet appeared in orbit, bristling with weapons Earth couldn't counter and technology Earth couldn't comprehend. The terms of surrender were simple: cooperate, and Earth would be left mostly alone. Send representatives. Attend the exchange. Don't cause trouble. Danny had volunteered. Nobody else wanted the job. Is this a joke? The voice belonged to Kassler Vun, a Threll diplomat built like an industrial crane, all jointed limbs and glossy carapace. He circled Danny slowly, mandibles clicking in what might have been laughter. This is the species that made everyone so afraid? It barely reaches my elbow joint. Laughter rippled through the gathered delegates. Wet clicks, rasping hisses, low mechanical hums. All the different sounds 40 species made when they found something funny. Danny said nothing. He'd been briefed. Don't react. Don't posture. Just survive the tour. They say humans are clever, said a reedy voice belonging to a Voth trade broker. All silver scales and calculating eyes. Clever like vermin are clever. They hide, they scavenge, they multiply. That is not strength. That is an infestation. More laughter. Danny's jaw tightened, but he kept walking, flanked by 2 Krath guards the size of refrigerators, their faces hidden behind smoked visors. There were 3 habitats deep into the tour, past the aquatic dome where the Rinkai swam in lazy spirals, past the gravity well garden where something like living coral sang in ultrasonic frequencies. When they reached the containment wing, every alien in the tour group went quiet. Behind 6 inches of reinforced transparent alloy, in an enclosure the size of a football field, something enormous lay coiled in the artificial dark. The Draulek, Kassler Vun said, and for the first time, there was real fear under the diplomat's clicking voice. The last of the apex line predators, found on a death world in the outer verge. Even the Krath keeps it sedated most cycles. It has killed 11 handlers. It recognizes no authority, obeys no command, and has never once been calm in captivity. The creature was easily 40 feet long, plated in obsidian scales that seemed to drink the light, ridged along a spine that ended in something between a tail and a scythe. Its head was low and wedge-shaped, built for tearing, and even sedated, its breathing made the floor hum. They keep it as a warning, Kassler continued, regaining his composure, sensing an opportunity to humiliate the human further. A reminder of the price for defiance. Perhaps the little creature should have a closer look. Perhaps it should learn what real power looks like, before it goes home and tells its people how outmatched they are. The guards, either amused or under orders Danny didn't understand, pressed a control. A section of the containment wall irised open, not fully, just enough for a narrow observation alcove, sealed behind a secondary field. Danny was guided forward, close enough now that he could see the old scars crossing the Draulek's hide, and could hear the low subsonic rumble beneath its ribs. The creature's eye, slitted, gold, ancient, opened, and found him. Danny didn't move. He'd stared down worse things than an alien zoo animal. He'd stared down foreclosure notices, his father's coffin, a company commander screaming 2 inches from his face during ranger school. He held the golden eye and didn't blink. The Draulek rose, guards tensed. Kassler Vun stumbled backward. The observation field flickered as the creature's mass pressed against it. 40 feet of muscle and plate uncoiling like a landslide finding its feet. A sound rolled out of its chest. Not a roar, something lower, something almost like language. Then it spoke. Not through the field's translator matrix. Danny would learn later the Draulek's kind had no need of one, that they projected meaning directly into the resonance of a listener's own skull, an ability so rare the Krath had classified it a bioweapon. Small one. Small, unbending one. The words landed inside Danny's head like a struck bell. Every alien in the observation gallery froze. You do not run. You do not bow your spine to hide your throat. I know this posture. I have worn it myself before larger things. Danny's voice came out steadier than he expected. I don't know what you are, but you're the first thing on this ship that hasn't laughed at me. The Draulek's massive head lowered until its eye was level with Danny's, separated only by the thin shimmer of the field. They laugh because they measure strength in mass, in teeth, in how much a body can crush before it tires. The rumble deepened, and something in it might have been contempt. Not for Danny, but for the room. I was measured that way once too. I hunted for it, caged for it. They call me a monster because I would not stop being what I was when it was convenient for them that I stop. That's not a monster, Danny said quietly. That's just refusing to die on someone else's terms. The eye didn't blink. Yes, little brother. Yes, that is exactly it. The words hit the gallery like a thunderclap. Little brother. From the last known apex predator in Krath captivity. A being that had never once, in 3 cycles of imprisonment, acknowledged another creature as anything but food or obstacle. Kassler Vun found his voice first, thin and disbelieving. That is not possible. The Draulek does not. It has never. You measured him by his height, the creature said, and now its voice rolled out past the field, past the alcove, filling the observation gallery so every delegate heard it directly. I measure him by what does not bend. Your alliance has fought 100 species into obedience by breaking their spines first. This one spine is still straight. You should be more afraid of that than of my teeth. The silence that followed was total. Even the guards had gone rigid. The Draulek settled back, coiling into the dark, but its golden eye stayed fixed on Danny. Go home, little brother. Tell your people the old predators remember what unbroken looks like. Tell them it is rarer than they think. Rarer among the stars than among the small and stubborn things that refuse to kneel. The tour ended shortly after. Nobody laughed again. 6 months later, the first independent human trade envoy left Earth. Not a tribute delegation, not hostages dressed as diplomats, but a negotiating team with a Krath treaty clause the Alliance had never granted anyone. The right of refusal. Nobody in the Krath command structure could explain on the record why the concession had been made. Off the record, in the containment logs nobody was supposed to read, there was a note about an incident in the Ashkurn Dominion's tour gallery, and a comment log by a nervous handler. Subject Draulek 7 has not attempted to reach the containment door since exchange cycle 44. Behavior anomaly. Subject appears calm. Danny Kowalski went back to Earth nobody and came home a legend nobody outside 3 governments could officially confirm. He never talked about it publicly. But sometimes, late at night, staring up at a sky full of stars he now knew were crowded with things that measured strength in mass and teeth, he thought about a golden eye and a voice that had called him little brother, and he understood something the whole galaxy hadn't figured out yet. It didn't matter how small you were. It only mattered that you didn't kneel.